Here at the Trinity College Dramatic Society, we are proud to present a new adaptation by Claire Ellis of Bram Stoker's classic novel, Dracula.
In my old age, I have recently begun the task of sorting through papers collected and typed up by Mina Harker so many years ago. I have little else to put in order, and few people to remember. But I feel it is only right to collect these documents and put that dark story in a form that might be found by anyone so desperate as we have been. I am nearly the last one of us left. I have before me the diary of poor Jonathan Harker, my own phonograph recordings, for I used to like to speak my diary, the correspondence between Lucy and Mina, Mina's diary, and a handful of newspaper clippings and memoranda. Whether the whole horror is contained within these accounts, I will never know for certain, but I hope and pray that all we learned of value is. I believe all our failings were a matter of speed. We were too slow, and he traveled too fast. If we had had a story like this one before us, perhaps it would have made all the difference. No one, I can imagine, can have felt more keenly than Jonathan Harker. This is the whole of his diary.
May the 4th, Bistritz, Transylvania. After an uneasy sleep, I had some bits of beef and onions for breakfast. I miss a good English egg. When I left the inn to catch my coach, I found the landlady talking to the driver and the people milling out in front. Now, they seemed to be speaking several different languages, but of course I brought my polyglot dictionary with me, and there were a few terms repeated often enough that I managed to look them up. I must say they were not cheering to me, for among them were Ordog, Satan, Popple, Hell, Stragoica, Witch, Rolok, and Vlokslak. One Slavic and the other Serbian, for something that is either werewolf or vampire. I must ask the Count about these superstitions.
Young Herr, must you go?
Please, ma'am, as I have told you, I am engaged on important business.
Do you know what day it is?
The 4th of May?
Oh, I know. But do you know what day it is?
I don't understand. If you'll excuse.
It is the eve of St. George's Day. Do you not know that tonight, when the clock strikes midnight, all the evil things in the world will have full sway? Do you know where you are going and what you are going to?
Look, madam, I have promised the Count my swift arrival, and I cannot be delayed. Please, there is no need for all this distress. I have just passed my solicitor's exam, you know.
One day! Wait, just one night!
I'm sorry, I really must go.
Please, young Herr, take my crucifix.
I really shouldn't. Church of England, you know.
For your mother's sake.
Well, thank you. I'll take good care of it. With the landlady appeased, I boarded the coach. As I climbed in, the other passengers made a sort of sign, apparently to ward off the evil eye. And if the landlady hadn't made such a fuss about the date and where I was going, I might have been quite offended. It was a long ride to the place where I was meant to meet the Count's coach. The road often became narrow and cut through rock. In certain places it was incredibly steep. I'll get out and walk, so as not to tire the horses.
No, you must not walk here. The dogs are too fierce. And you may have enough of such matters before you go to sleep.
As it became dark, the other passengers grew excited and seemed to be urging the coachman on, faster and faster. We were between two massive cliffs, racing towards a light spot in the dark that must have been the Borgo Pass, where I was supposed to meet the Count. As we came out on the other side, the air turned thunderous, as though we had crossed into another atmosphere. Finally, the road was clear before us. The pass was empty. The Count's carriage was not there. The others seemed relieved. I was disappointed and uncertain what to do.
An hour less than the time.
What was that?
There is no carriage here. The heir is not expected after all. He will now come on to Bukovina and return tomorrow. Or the next day. Better the next day.
You are early tonight, my friend.
The English heir was in a hurry.
That is why, I suppose, you wished him to go on to Bukovina. You cannot deceive me, my friend. I know too much, and my horses are swift.
For the dead travel fast.
So it has been said. Give me the heir's luggage. The night is chill, mein Herr, and my master, the Count, bade me take all care of you. There is a flask underneath the seat, if you should require it.
Oh, thank you. I'm quite all right for now. The driver went hard down the road for quite some time, made a complete turn, and went along another straight road. It seemed to me that we were going over and over the same ground again. So I took note of a small landmark and found that this was so. I feared to ask the driver what this meant, for if he was intending to delay me, he would not listen. Nearly midnight. At some point, there appeared a faint, flickering blue flame. The driver jumped down to the ground, checked the horses, and went off towards it. There was a strange optical effect. For a brief moment, when he stood between me and the flame, he did not obstruct it, for I could see its ghostly flicker all the same. He moved on and soon disappeared into the darkness. The horses began to tremble, though I could not see any cause for it, as the wolves had ceased to howl. Then, the moon came from behind the clouds, and by its light I saw around us a ring of wolves with white teeth and lolling red tongues, long sinewy limbs and shaggy hair. They were 100 times more terrible in that grim silence than when they howled. I felt a sort of paralysis of fear. At the same instant the moon appeared, they began to howl at it, and the horses jumped and reared. Driver, come back! Our only chance to break through! Quickly, man! How he came there, I know not, but I heard his voice raised in a tone of imperious command, and there he stood in the roadway. As he swept his long arms, the wolves fell back and back farther still. He climbed back into the coach, and the wolves disappeared. This was all so strange and uncanny that a dreadful fear came upon me. I was afraid to speak or move. We swept on in almost complete darkness. We kept on ascending, in the main, always ascending, and I must have been asleep. Suddenly I started, and saw the driver pulling up the horses in the midst of a courtyard of a vast, ruined castle.
Let me give you a hand down, mein Herr.
Ow. Thank you. You've an impressive grip. Hello? Where are you going? He's just gone. Wait, how do I get in? There's no knocker, no handle.
of your own will. Welcome to my house. Come freely. Go safely. And leave something of the happiness you bring.
Count Dracula?
I am Dracula. And I bid you welcome, Mr. Harker, to my house. Come in. The night air is chill, and you must need to eat and rest. Is this all your luggage?
No, that's quite all right. I can manage.
Nay, sir. You are my guest. It is late, and my people are not available. Let me see to your comfort myself. I pray you, be seated and sup how you please. You will, I trust, excuse me that I do not join you, but I have dined already.
It looks delicious. Oh, here is the letter from Mr. Hawkins.
Your Mr. Hawkins writes, I regret to say that gout prevents any traveling, but I am happy to say I can send a sufficient substitute, in whom I have every possible confidence. He is faithful, discreet, and silent, and shall take your instruction in all matters.
That's very kind of Mr. Hawkins.
Yes. Will you allow me to refresh your wine?
Oh, yes, thank you. Are you having any?
Oh, no. I never drink wine. Listen to them, the children of the night. What music they make. Ah, sir, you dwellers of the city cannot enter into the feelings of the hunter. But you must be tired. Your bedroom is all ready, and tomorrow you shall sleep as late as you will. I have to be away until the afternoon. So sleep well and dream well.
I have to be absent for a while. Do not wait for me. D. May 5th, the castle. After my midnight dinner with the Count, I must have fallen asleep sometime in the early hours. My room, I assume this room I've woken up in is to be mine, is large and comfortable, with a pleasant view of the castle courtyard, far below. I don't remember going to bed, but I have slept until very late in the day, and found my breakfast laid out. Some of the dishes in this country are excellent, but I don't see how I shall get the recipes for Mina if the food keeps silently appearing like this. I have not yet seen any sign of the Count's servants, except, well, his driver. When the Count shook my hand, his hand had the same icy grip as the driver's. If they are the same man, I don't know what to make of it. I am all in a sea of wonders. I think strange things, which I dare not confess to my own soul. God keep me, if only for the sake of those dear to me. library, the London Directory, Whitaker's Almanac, the Army and Navy lists, the law list.
Ah, you have found the library.
Yes. I hope you don't mind. I was surprised to find so many English books.
I am glad. Those books have been good friends to me, ever since I had the idea of going to London. Through them, I have come to know your great England. I long to go through the crowded streets of your mighty London, to be in the midst of the whirl and rush of humanity, to share its life, its change, its death, and all that makes it what it is. But alas, I only know your language through these books, and through you I must know it to speak.
But Count, you know and speak English thoroughly.
But did I move and speak in your London? None there are who would not know me for a stranger. That is not enough for me. Here I am noble. The common people know me, and I am master. But a stranger in a strange land, he is no one. I have been master so long that I would be master still, or at least that none other be master of me. You come to me, not alone as agent of my friend, Peter Hawkins of Exeter, to tell me about my new estate in London. You shall, I trust, rest here a while, so that by our talking I may learn the English intonation. When I make any error, even of the smallest, you must tell me, Jonathan Harker. I am sorry I had to be away so long today, but you will, I know, forgive one who has so many important affairs in hand.
Oh, of course. And I am most willing to oblige with the, speaking. May I indeed return to your library when I choose?
You may go anywhere you wish in the castle, except where the doors are locked. There is reason that all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes, you would better understand. Transylvania is not England. But perhaps you have already seen this.
Yes, I certainly have.
If you have the leisure, you ought to study of our history. We are a proud house, though I am the last. Was it not a Dracula who as voivode crossed the Danube and beat back armies on their own ground? Woe was it that his own brother sold his people when he had fallen? And did not that Dracula inspire another of his race to bring his forces again and again over the river? Who, when he was beaten back, came again and again, though he had to come alone from the bloody field, for his troops were being slaughtered, because he knew that he alone could ultimately triumph. They say he thought only of himself. Ah! What good are peasants without a leader? Come, tell me of London and of the house which you have procured for me. Come to my table.
Oh, then excuse me one moment. I'll fetch the papers from my room.
There is no need, my friend. You have already brought them to me.
Oh, right. Well then.
It was you, was it not, who first discovered this notable property? Please, tell me of how you found it.
You can just say, tell me how you found it. At Purfleet, I came across a large and very old house with a dilapidated notice that the place was for sale. It was surrounded by a high wall and an old iron gate eaten with rust. The estate is called Carfax, for the house is four-sided, and it is somewhat gloomy because of the shade of many trees in the deep, dark lake. It is clearly medieval, with an old chapel. There are a few houses near it, one being a very large house, only recently formed into a private lunatic asylum. It is not, however, visible from the grounds.
I am glad that it is old and big. To live in a new house would kill me. A house cannot be made habitable in a day. And after all, how few days go to make up a century. I rejoice also that there is a chapel. We Transylvanian nobles love not to think that our bones may lie amongst the common dead. The gloom is nothing to me. I am no longer young, and my heart, through weary years of mourning over the dead, is not attuned to mirth. Moreover, the walls of my castle are broken. I am used to the shade and the shadow, and would be alone when I may.
Yes, indeed.
Why, there is the morning again. Oh, Harry, miss, I am to let you stay up so long. You must make your conversation less interesting so I may not forget how the time flies. You will excuse me. Sleep well and dream well.
I can't keep sleeping through the day like this. Afternoon already. God, I need a shave. Of course there's no mirror. Where's my little travel one?
Good morning.
Oh, I didn't see you in the mirror. How on earth? Oh, damn, I've cut myself. Have you any plaster?
Take care! Take care how you cut yourself! It is more dangerous than you think in this country. And this wretched thing that hath done the mischief! It is a foul bauble of man's vanity. Away with it! Now, have you written since you came to our friend, Mr. Peter Hawkins, or any other?
I have not, as I have not seen the opportunity to send any letters.
Then write now, my young friend. Write to our friend and to any other, and say, if it will please you, that you shall stay with me until a month from now.
Do you wish me to stay so long?
I desire it much. Nay, I will take no refusal. When your master, employer, what you will, engaged that someone should come on his behalf, it was understood that my needs only were to be consulted. I have not stinted. Is it not so?
Oh, yes, of course, you have been a most considerate host.
I pray you, my good friend, that you will not discourse of things other than business in your letters. It will doubtless please your friends to know that you are well, and that you look forward to getting home to them. Is it not so? And do you not think, my friend, that as the posts are so few and uncertain, that you should write 3 more letters? One saying that your work is nearly done and you will start for home in a few days. One, that you are starting on the next morning. And the third, that you had left my castle and arrived at Bistritz.
Why on earth would I do such a thing? My correspondence, as a solicitor, has always been sacred to me.
You do not want your loved ones to worry, do you? You would not want dear Mina to fear for your life, simply because the post has gone astray.
Well,
No. I shall ensure that these letters are held in Bistritz until due time, in case you decide to stay longer. And that way, there will be no mistakes or inaccuracies that a solicitor must be embarrassed of.
And what date should I give these letters?
The first should be June 12th, the second, June 19th, and the third, June 29th.
June 29th.
I trust you will forgive me, but I have much work to do in private this evening. You will, I hope, find all things as you wish. Let me advise you, my dear young friend, that should you leave these rooms, you will not by any chance go to sleep in any other part of the castle. It is old and has many memories, and there are bad dreams for those who sleep unwisely. Be warned! If you be not careful in this respect, then, well... But it is nearly night now. Perhaps you are already tired, in which case I pray you will sleep well and dream well.
No, I'm not tired. I have too much work to do. I certainly will not be sleeping any time soon.
As you wish.
I shall leave these rooms, and if there aren't any mirrors in the rest of this place, I'll shave in a puddle outside.
Crack the window. Let him hear the wolves.
Put a cushion on the chair. You've flowers in your hair. Put them in his water.
Shroud the bed.
Locked. You may go anywhere you wish, except where doors are locked. They're all locked! Except this one. I wonder why not this one. May 6th, the castle. There is something so strange about this place that I wish I were safe out of it, or that I had never come. If there were anyone to talk to, I could bear it, but there is no one. I have only the Count to speak with, and he... I fear I am the only living soul within this place. This strange night existence is telling on me. Let me be prosaic, so far as facts can be. I must not let my imagination run riot. When I woke up this evening... No, after the Count had me write the letters, I went to make a thorough examination of the castle. I caught a glimpse of the Count in the dining room and went past him cautiously, and saw that he was taking away the dishes from last night. This confirmed what I had all along thought, that there were no servants in this vast castle, and only the Count, making my bed and bringing me food. Now, that gave me a fright, but as I went on exploring, I nearly forgot all about it. Doors everywhere, and all of them locked and bolted. The great entrance locked. At last, however, I found one door which gave when I pulled at it, and I write presently from that very room. Here is a wing evidently occupied by the ladies in bygone days. There is a dread loneliness in the place. Still, it is better than living alone in my rooms, which I have come to hate from the presence of the Count. Here I am, sitting at a little oak table, where, in old times, possibly some fair lady sat to pen her love letters, writing in my own diary all that has happened since I closed it up last, up to the minute. It is 19th century up to date with a vengeance. And yet, unless my senses deceive me, the old centuries had and have powers of their own, which mere modernity cannot kill. Oh, and the view from this room is magnificent. The side of the castle is on the very edge of a terrific precipice, where a stone could fall 1,000 feet without touching anything but air. I have seen the rest of the castle. This abyss is a view on 3 sides, from every window but mine, which overlooks the courtyard. The view is beautiful, but I am not in heart to describe beauty. This castle is a prison, and I, a prisoner. I won't go back to my room, no matter what he said. Why shouldn't I sleep here?
Jonathan. Go on. You go first, and we will follow.
He is young and strong. We will each have a turn.
Oh, don't look so frightened, Jonathan. 1 kiss each. Is that so terrible?
I'm engaged. Mina.
Mina. My name is Mina.
And mine is Mina.
And mine is mine. But you can call me Mina.
Stop it.
You were so sleepy before. Aren't you sleepy now?
Sometimes when a man is very tired, he dreams while he's awake. He sees whatever he wants to see.
How dare you touch him! Any of you when I had forbidden it! Back! This man belongs to me.
But he's in love with Mina. She is Mina, and she is Mina, and I am Mina, and he is mine. You don't know anything about love. You've never loved.
You know from my past that I can. Well, I promise when I am done with him, you shall kiss him at your will. Now go! There is work that he and I must do.
Are we to have nothing tonight?
Try the little room.
I...
Sleep and dream.
Morning. Did I dream it all? If I didn't, he must have carried me. What time is it? My watch. Where is it? Where? What on earth?
What is it that you are missing?
My suit, my coat, my paper, my railway timetable, all gone.
Your suit is being cleaned, my friend. For you must away tomorrow.
I must? I mean, am I?
Yes, my friend. We must part. You return to your beautiful England. I do some work which may have such an end that we may never meet. Tomorrow I shall not be here, but all shall be ready for your journey. Some men will come at dawn and do some work here. And when they are gone, my carriage will bring you back to meet the coach from Bukovina. But I am in hopes I shall see more of you at Castle Dracula.
Why may I not go tonight?
My coach is away.
I would walk with pleasure. I want to get away at once.
And your baggage, your suit?
I will send for them.
Welcome the coming! Speed the parting guest. Not an hour shall you wait in my house against your will. Though sad I am at your going, and that you should so suddenly desire it. Come!
Shut the door, please! She waited so long.
Back! Your time is not yet come. Have patience. Tonight is mine. Tomorrow night is yours.
What on earth? These may be the last words I ever write in this diary. Tomorrow is the date put on my life. Look at that. Looking from the window, I have just seen the Count's head coming out of some other window, probably his own. I knew him by the movement of his neck and arms. And then I saw the whole man emerge from the window and begin to crawl down the castle wall over the abyss. No, the courtyard. Face down with his cloak spreading out about him like great wings. At first I could not believe my eyes. I thought it was a trick of the moonlight. But I kept looking, and I saw the fingers and toes grasp at the corners of the stones, and thus move downwards with considerable speed, just as a lizard moves along a wall. What manner of creature is this in the semblance of a man? I am in fear, awful fear, and there is no escape for me. He wore my suit under his cloak. No doubt he means to post my letters disguised as me. There is no way out from such a web. It seems there is no way out of this castle, like the Count himself leaves by crawling down the walls. If only I could get into his room and find the key to the front door. But all the doors are locked, and I dare not leave my room with those women waiting. I will wait for the morning, and perhaps I can break in the door. Almost dawn. But there is a way, if one dares to take it. I could imitate him and go where he goes. It's not so far from my room across to his. I have wasted too much time already. I don't know when he will return, and this is the last day he means to leave me alive. I shall risk it. At the worst, it can only be death. The precipice is steep and high. At its foot, a man may sleep, as a man. Goodbye, Mina, if I fail.
Here ends Jonathan Harker's diary.
There is nothing here. Where does he sleep? What's this, a closet? Hello? I suppose I must continue on. Mina, Lord, if you could see this. What's this, a chapel? There's an old ruined chapel here, Mina, and the roof is broken and the last of the moonlight is coming in. I don't like the look of moonlight anymore. The ground is all dug up and the place is full of boxes. About 50 wooden boxes about the size of coffins. What does one do in a chapel full of boxes, Mina? I need a key for the main door, or else I'll have to risk climbing all the way to the ground. I have to look for the key. I can't climb that far. I'll look for the key. The boxes are full of dirt, Mina. Transylvania is a strange place with strange customs, the Count says. This one too, full of dirt. Mina! Mina, the Count is lying in a box. Mina, he looks dead, but younger. His hair has gone from grey to black, and his eyes are open. There's blood. They're on his mouth. He's looking at me. His eyes are dead, but staring right at me. I must get the key. Do it. Where is it? I don't think there's a key, Mina. You go to England? I've already done too much. I've helped you set your plan in motion. I can't let you go. No. Get away!
Hello, Jonathan. How did you get in here?
Are you saying goodbye to your master?
Will you miss him very much?
We will keep you company, Jonathan.
Stay back!
You can't fight us.
No, but I mean to kill him while I can.
Oh, you can't do that.
Not with a shovel.
Hush!
How then? Tell me. Look, perhaps I can't escape you. But if you help me kill him, you can do as you please. He keeps you prisoners here too, doesn't he? He brings you food, but only he leaves this place. And now he's leaving you behind to starve. Kill him and you will be free.
It's too late for that, Jonathan Harker. We are free of many things, but we cannot be free from him.
It is heartbreaking to know that he can be so easily free of us.
But we will console ourselves together, won't we, Jonathan?
And Mina will console herself, alone, in England.
Then I'll do it. Workmen, then it's nearly time. They'll see him. They must. I'll tell them what he is and we can kill him. Wait, don't you see what he is? Don't take him. Wait, stop! Don't take him away! Oh, take me with you! Don't leave me here with them! Please, I can't climb again over that abyss. There's no other way out. Even the Count is gone, and I am alone. Either I wait to die at the hands of those women, whatever they are, or I climb. Mina, I'll do it.
Jonathan Harker's journal is ended. We move now to the correspondence of Lucy Westenra and Mina Murray, or rather, I suppose, a single letter from Lucy to Mina, and then much later a single letter from Mina to Lucy. And between the two, the story can be filled in by my own diary and Mina's. But we will begin with Lucy's letter, in which my own appearance still causes me a slight pang.
My dearest Mina, I must say you tax me very unfairly with being a bad correspondent. I wrote you twice since we parted, and your last letter was only your second. Besides, I have nothing to tell you. The curly-haired man you refer to went with me to the last concert, and someone has evidently been telling tales. That was Mr. Homewood. He gets on very well with Mama, and we've met a man who would do very well for you, if you hadn't already got Jonathan. He's handsome and well-off and immensely clever, only 29 and in charge of a whole lunatic asylum. Well, you had to go and pick a solicitor instead. Oh, here he is.
Good morning, Miss Westenra.
Good morning, Dr. Sayward. What a fine hat.
Thank you, Miss Westenra.
Oh, well, don't sit on it. I've just been writing a letter.
Have you?
Yes.
Well, the thing is, Miss Westenra, is that you have become very dear to me over the short time that we've known each other, and I cannot spend a moment without thinking of what my life could be with you beside me to help me and to cheer me, and I would be so very unhappy if you would.
Oh, Dr. Sayward, please,
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I've been a brute. I didn't mean to add to your present trouble. Please, Miss Westerner, could you come to love me in time?
I'm afraid I can't.
Is it because there's someone else? I don't mean to wring a confidence from you, but only to know. Because if a woman's heart is free, then a man might have hope.
Yes, Dr. Sayward, there is someone else.
Well, my dear, I hope you will be happy. And if you need a friend, please count me one of your best.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sayward. Would you like any tea?
Oh, no, I couldn't possibly. If you ever need a friend, remember.
Oh, Mina! Where was I? I've never in my life had a proposal, and I always thought I'd be pleased to have one. Oh, I feel so miserable. It was all very nice, but it isn't at all a happy thing when you have to see a poor fellow that loves you honestly, going away all broken-hearted, and to know that no matter what he says, you are passing out of his life. Mr. Morris!
You seem to be writing pretty feverishly there, darling. I'm not much of a correspondent myself, but it looks like you might have some mighty urgent news.
Not so, Mr. Morris. Only something rather funny has happened, and I am writing it all down so I don't forget it.
Well, if I've got you in a laughing mood, I'll do the voice.
Yes, do the voice.
Miss Lucy, I know I ain't good enough to regulate the fixings of your little shoes, but you'll be waiting a long time to find a man who is. So won't you just hitch up alongside of me and let us go down the long road together, driving in double harness?
Well, Mr. Morris, I don't know anything of hitching, and I'm not broken to harness at all yet.
I've spoken in a light manner, and if I've made a mistake doing so on so grave an occasion for me, I hope you will forgive me. Lucy, I've thought since the day that I met you that a man would be a fool not to try his damned hardest to win you over, and every day since I've grown more certain. Lucy, you are an honest-hearted girl, and I believe you clean grit down to the depths of your soul. Tell me, like one good fella to another, is there anyone else that you care for? And if there is, I'll never trouble you again, but will be, if you let me, a very faithful friend.
Yes, there is someone I love, though he has not told me yet that he loves me.
It's better worth being late for a chance of winning you than being in time for any other girl in the world. Me, I'm a hard nut to crack, and I take it standing up. Well, little girl, you made me a friend, and that's rarer than a lover. Thank you for your sweet honesty to me, and goodbye.
Won't you stay for some tea?
No, thank you, girlie. I can't stand the stuff. If ever you need someone by your side, I'll come a-running.
Mina! 2 in one day! Oh, why can't they let a girl marry 3 men? Or as many as want her and save all the trouble? But this is heresy, and I must not say it. Mr. Quincy Morris is such a nice fellow, too. An American from Texas. And he has such adventures and tells such stories. Well, he just found me alone, and it seems a man always does find a girl alone. Except Arthur, and he's tried twice to make an attempt, and I was helping him all I could, and oh, hell. Arthur!
Lucy, darling, would you be my wife?
Yes, oh, absolutely, yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, of course. Oh, I'll go get the tea things.
Lucy, darling, dearest, don't be angry with me.
I could never.
But I must go back to my father. I couldn't wait a moment longer to ask you, but I simply cannot be spared. He's too ill.
Arthur. Oh, of course you must.
You've made me the happiest man in the world.
And I the happiest girl, I suppose. Well, Mina, I don't suppose I need to tell you about proposal number 3, do I? I'm sure it was all the same for you, just a big rush, and before you know it, it's over, and you're so very, very, very happy. And now I've got ink on my dress. Honestly, for what it's supposed to be, the best and happiest day imaginable is turning out pretty rotten.
Here, use my handkerchief.
Mina!
Calm down, Lucy dear. Have you been crying?
I've written it all out, and I'm so terribly happy that it makes me want to cry.
Oh, darling. Come for a walk outside. Whitby looks lovely, and you need some air.
I will follow Lucy's correspondence with a couple entries from my own diary, kept in phonograph, dating the same day and the next.
July 24th. Met with Quincy and Arthur the evening of Lucy's choice, having arranged to meet Arthur on his way back to his father. I wish nothing but the best for my friend, but I confess if it weren't for Quincy's good humor in the face of the same disappointment, I would not have liked to have seen Arthur so soon.
Old pal, it's bittersweet to congratulate you, but we must swallow our medicine. You couldn't have picked a better gal.
Yes. Congratulations, Arthur.
Thank you both. I wish it hadn't happened this way, but it was fair and square, and you know it. I even went last.
Yes, of course. Of course.
I'd like to see anyone hoodwink that girl. She's plucky enough, and she kept her nerve, didn't she? I reckon Jack and I poured our hearts out to her, and she said, as cool as you please, knowing you'd be along soon.
Aw, don't start making me feel sorry for the lot of you.
I've missed you both at my campfire. Let's go drink our sorrows, Jack, and if you follow along, Arthur, we'll toast to you and your lady.
July 25th. Low appetite. Since my rebuff of yesterday, I've had a sort of empty feeling. Nothing in the world seems of sufficient importance to be worth doing. As I knew the only cure was work, I went among the patients. So I picked out one who has afforded me a study of much interest. R.M. Renfield, age 59. Sanguine temperament, great physical strength, morbidly excitable, periods of gloom ending in some fixed idea which I cannot make out. If he is unselfish, he may be dangerous. In selfish men, caution is as secure an armor for their foes as for themselves.
You look disappointed, Doctor.
Good morning, Renfield. Do I?
Heartbroken.
You look busy. Where have your flies gone?
Oh, I keep spiders now. You said I should get rid of the flies.
I'm glad you listened. And so you fed the flies to the spiders?
Nearly all of them.
Renfield.
Don't be stupid, Doctor. Every fly is a good little life and gives life to the thing that eats it. My spiders have lots of little lives by now.
Don't eat your spiders, Renfield. I shall have to take them away.
Oh, no, Doctor. I'm going to catch a sparrow and he will eat the spiders for me. Lots of lives for a bigger life.
And then what?
Could I please have a kitten?
And then what?
My salvation depends on it, Doctor.
Give me your pocketbook.
I'd rather not.
Give me your pocketbook. Good night, Renfield.
No such thing.
Now that Mina Murray has come to Whitby, we continue with her journal.
July 24th, Whitby. I walked a long time with Lucy after my arrival. This is a lovely place. We walked mostly through the churchyard on the cliffs, where over time some of the graves have fallen into the sea. There is a beautiful view of the harbor below with a long seawall and 2 lighthouses. It was such a pleasant change to walk along in the breeze. Except it carries along the sound of a bell on the roof, which is a mournful sound on the wind.
I can't imagine why you'd want to leave off teaching.
I've quite enjoyed being a school teacher. I like the independence of it and earning my own keep, and I grew fond of most of the children. But there's still something so old-fashioned about it. I'm learning to type now and to write in shorthand, and I want to work as a secretary for Jonathan, now that he's a certified solicitor. Modern work, you know.
Yes, I suppose I see.
No, you don't. You've picked yourself the son of a lord and you'll be Lady Godwin one day. And you won't lift a finger till the day you die.
Mina! I'm not useless, you know. If you're good at writing things down and typing them up and teaching a lot of children, well, I'm good at talking to adults. And I figure it all balances out in the end. If I'm Lady Godalming, I'll have to win over all of our guests and charm other ladies at parties, and I intend to be known as a wit.
Half of one.
Besides, I won't be Lady anything for a long time. Arthur's father isn't so ill, and I'm sure I will be the Honourable Mrs. Arthur Homewood for a long time.
You're terribly smug.
You don't really think I am, do you, Mina? I'd rather die than have you think I was arrogant.
Hush, Lucy, of course not.
You look sad.
I'm worried about Jonathan, that's all. I've only just received a couple letters from him, dated nearly a month ago. One saying he'd be leaving in a week, one saying he was starting today. Not at all like him.
Yes, well, I'm sure travelling wears on one's correspondence. You hardly wrote me anything, and you weren't taking trains and ships and things.
What's this your mother told me about sleepwalking?
Oh, don't worry about that. I used to do it when I was a child, and apparently I've started up again. I have my eyes open, and I've never actually fallen down anything. I don't think I can even get the bedroom door open.
Well, I should be able to watch you while I'm here.
Yes, ma'am. Are you going to teach me my ABCs too, or is that only for your children under the age of 20?
What a storm!
Yes, that does look nasty, doesn't it?
I wonder if it'll come all the way inland.
It will. Look. Look at the ship.
What ship?
All of its sails are up, even in the wind. It's racing with the wind behind it. Masts draining. It's coming right for us.
Where? Do you mean that speck out there? I can't even tell if it's a ship.
A Russian ship.
Since when are you so nautical? Let's walk back. It's going to pour soon.
Ah, look. Mina has pasted a cutting from the Daily Graph here in her journal.
Whitby, one of the greatest and suddenest storms on record has just been experienced here. After a violently beautiful sunset with hues of flame, purple, pink, green, violet, and all tints of gold, the air grew still and there was a silence so marked that one could hear the barking of a dog far inland. Few boats were out hugging the shore, and the only sail noticeable was from a foreign schooner, seemingly unaware or unafraid of the coming storm. Without warning, the tempest broke a little after midnight, and the waves rose in growing fury, each overtopping its fellow until they broke over the piers and tossed their steam off over the bridge. Masses of sea fog drifted slowly inland, even though the wind was so strong that men could not keep their feet in the harbor. The harbor was cleared of onlookers, and a searchlight was got into working order to guide the rest of fishing boats in. Before long, it caught a glimpse of the same schooner started early this evening, and the watchers of the storm shuddered at the danger she was now in.
Watch your feet, Dr. Seward. We'll follow you up. Just head to the helm.
How did she run aground like this?
It was the oddest thing. I caught sight of her from the cliff, and I told myself she doesn't know her mind a bit. She seems to see the storm coming, but can't decide whether to run up north in the open or to put in here. A beautiful ship, but changing with every puff of wind, with no mind to a hand on the wheel.
Aye, the Russian had all sails set, even when our boys signaled her to put him down. We lost sight of her for a while, but in the blackest part of the storm, right at high tide, She came on straight for the reef. I said she must fetch up somewhere, if only in hell.
But then the wind changed, and somehow she made it into harbor. And they trained the searchlight on her, and we could all see the dead man swinging to and fro at the wheel, while he steered her right onto the sand heap.
Not a living thing on board except a dog. Jumped off the side as soon as it touched land.
Oh, hope it's not a dangerous animal.
Here he is, Doctor, the captain. We haven't touched him.
But he's tied the knots with his teeth, looks like. He's wrapped the rosary around both hands, like so, and then knotted them. Well, it's cut to the bone since. But then he's been dead for at least 2 days.
We found this bottle in his pocket. It was sealed with a cork, and it looks to be the end of his captain's log. I didn't like to open it until there were enough witnesses. It ought to be in Russian, so I brought this chap Egorov here. Father was a Russian sailor, too. Go on.
June 18. Things so strange happening that I shall keep note until we land. July 6. We taken cargo, 50 boxes of earth. At noon set sail, crew of 5 hands, 2 mates, a cook, and myself, captain. July 13. Crew is dissatisfied but will not speak. July 16. Mate reported one of the crew, Petrovsky, missing, and could not account for it. Lebrard watched 8 bells last night, relieved by Meramov, but never went to bed. July 17. Ogron says he thinks there's a strange man on the ship. They've got the crew together to search, so that the panic does not spread. The first mate was angry, so I let him take the helm, while the rest of us went from stem to stern. We searched the whole ship, and there was nothing, even between the big wooden boxes. Men relieved. July 22. Men cheerful again. Past Gibraltar. July 24. Some doom over this ship. Another man disappeared. Came off watch and not seen again. Men in a panic of fear, worried there would be violence. July 28. 4 days in hell. Tempest wind and men all worn out. July 29. Second mate gone. Mate and I now armed. July 30. Rejoiced we are nearing England. Weather fine. Woken by mate telling me that the man of watch and steersman missing. Only 4 of us left to work ship. August 1st. 2 days of fog. Cannot signal. Mate is more demoralized than men. They are Russian. He is Romanian. August 2. Woke to hear a cry. Another man gone. Mate says we must pass Straits of Dover. 3 left. God has deserted us. August 3rd. At midnight, Winter leave the man at the wheel, and no one was there. Shouted for mate. He came wild-eyed in his flannels. He whispered to me, "It is here. I know it now. I saw it on my watch, like a man, tall and thin and ghastly pale. I gave it my knife, but the knife went through it. But I'll find it. It is in the hold in one of the boxes. I'll unscrew them one by one. You work the helm." With his finger on his lip, he went below. He is mad. I cannot stop him. I shall stand here and write these notes. I hope he comes out calmer. Just as I was hopeful, there comes from the hatch a sudden scream.
Ha!
And up on deck he came as if shot from a gun. A raving madman, with his eyes rolling. He says, "You'd better come too, Captain, before it is too late." He's there. I know the secrets now. The sea will save me. And before I could move to seize him, he threw himself overboard. I suppose I know the secret now too. He's got rid of the men one by one and followed them himself. How will I account to these whores when I get to port? If I ever do. August 4. Still fog. I dare not leave the helm. In the night, I saw it. The mate was right to jump overboard. Better to die like a man. But I am captain, and I must not leave my ship. I will battle this fiend. I will tie my hands to the wheel with what he cannot touch, and then he cannot have my ship. I shall save my soul and my honor as a captain. If we are wrecked, and this bottle found, those who find it may understand. If not, then I did my duty all the same. God help me.
Well, I suppose with no evidence, it's impossible to say whether the captain himself committed the murders, but it seems almost as though he was seized by some mania that developed persistently throughout, and
We hold him to be a hero.
But
he is to be given a public funeral. He'll be taken with a train of boats up the Esk and then brought back to the churchyard here. The owners of more than 100 boats have given their names to follow him.
But you can't possibly believe that... Very well. I'll write up their certificate of death. Now, what about the cargo?
Just 50 boxes of earth. They were consigned to a Whitby solicitor. Whoever owns the lot wasn't too worried about the blood paid for them. They've already been loaded out and taken away. You're back, Dr. Seward. He's been violent all morning.
What's the matter, Renfield?
He's here, Doctor. Can't you feel it? He has landed.
Who, Renfield?
I don't need to listen to you any longer. And he doesn't want me to tell you. You'll know when he wants you to.
August 11th. What a horrible night we've had. I woke suddenly after midnight with a terrible sense of fear and sat up in bed. Lucy's bed was empty. I lit a match and found she was not in the room. Looking at her clothes, I thought she must not have gone far, for she had not put on either a dressing gown or a dress. I thought that even in her dreaming mind, she would not go far in just her nightgown. I threw on some clothes and looked all through the house. She was not there. I took a heavy shawl and ran out into the night. For some reason, I had a vague hope of seeing her in our favorite spot, up in the churchyard over the east cliff. For a moment or two I could see nothing as I ran, for the moon was clouded. The town seemed as dead, and I did not see a soul. I was glad, for I wanted no witness of Lucy's condition. For a moment the glow of moonlight emerged, and I caught a glimpse of white on the cliff. I ran as fast as I could, yet it seemed to me as if my feet were weighted with lead, and all my joints were rusted. The distance seemed endless. When finally I reached the top, I could see a half-reclining white figure on one of the stones, and there was undoubtedly something long and black bending over her. As I called to her, something raised a head, and from where I was, I could see a dead, white face and red, gleaming eyes. As I ran to her, I lost sight for a moment. Lucy! Lucy! Lucy, wake up. We've got to get you home.
Dreaming?
No, you're in the churchyard. We've got to get you home before someone sees us. Up you get.
I'm very cold.
Of course you are. Here, put on this shawl.
Ow!
Oh, I'm so sorry. I think I caught some skin with the safety pin. Look, there's 2 little holes.
Will it scar?
No, they're tiny. Come on. August 13th. Another quiet day, into bed with the door locked and the key on my wrist. I woke in the night and found Lucy sitting up in bed, still asleep, pointing at the window. I got up quietly and pulled aside the blind. It was brilliant moonlight, and against it flitted a great bat, coming and going in great whirling circles. Once or twice it came quite close, but upon seeing me, it seemed, grew frightened and flitted away toward the abbey. When I came back from the window, Lucy was sleeping peacefully again, and did not stir all the rest of the night. Good morning, Lucy! Darling, I finally had a letter from Jonathan. Or, not from him. The dear fellow has been ill. That is why he didn't write. It's from a Sister Agatha in Budapest. He's been with them 6 weeks, suffering from a nervous breakdown. He's climbed down a castle wall, it says, and they found him wandering in the town below. She says he's had a fearful shock and has been raving about wolves and poison and blood and demons. Are you all right, dear? Anyway, the sister says he wants me to bring money, and he'll need to stay a few more weeks. I have to go immediately. I know I can catch the 10:30 train if I hire a carriage.
You're leaving?
Yes, darling. I must. He's been dreadfully ill. I must go to him.
I'm dreadfully ill.
Don't be silly, dear. You've just been sleeping badly. Maybe without me snoring, you won't wake so often. You do understand, don't you? Imagine if Arthur was ill and in a strange country. You'd drop everything and go. Wouldn't you?
Mina.
Yes?
Nothing. Just get a later train, won't you?
All right. I'll get the 12:10. Why don't we go for a last walk together in the churchyard?
All right.
Did you dream at all? The night you sleepwalked all the way out here?
I didn't quite dream, but it all seemed to be real. I only wanted to be here in this spot. I don't know why, for I was afraid of something at the same time. I remember, though I suppose I was asleep, passing through the streets and over the bridge. A fish leaped as I went by, and I leaned over to look at it, and I heard a lot of dogs howling. The whole town seemed as if it must be full of dogs, all howling at once, as I went up the steps. And then I had a vague memory of something long and dark, with red eyes like I see in the sunset, and something very sweet and very bitter all around me at once. And then I seemed sinking into deep green water, and there was a singing in my ears, as they say there is to drowning men. And then everything seemed passing away from me. My soul seemed to go out of my body and float about me in the air. I saw the lighthouse under me, and then there was an agonizing feeling like an earthquake, and I came back and found you shaking my body. I saw you do it before I felt you.
Well, you look well, anyway. Much better than you have been.
Mina, I don't understand what's happening. Please, won't you stay?
I'll be back before you've missed me. Maybe in a month. You needn't be so anxious. Arthur loves you, and you'll be married before you know it. And so will I. if they let me marry Jonathan in his state. And you needn't to wait for me. I'm sorry, Lucy, but I really must go. Will you walk with me to the carriage?
You know, I can never bring myself to leave this spot.
Yes, quite. Goodbye, Lucy. I'll be back soon.
Lucy, love!
Hello, Arthur. Good morning, Dr. Sayward, Mr. Morris.
Morning, Miss Westenra.
Why, howdy, Miss Lucy.
I've brought Dr. Seward to see you, Lucy. I don't like how you've been looking.
Arthur, how could you?
You know what I mean, darling.
If you'll just sit here, Lucy. You haven't cut yourself on anything recently, have you?
Heavens, no.
I'm satisfied. Arthur and I were talking business, but we'll meet you at your house in a moment if you'll go on ahead.
Only because you asked so sweetly.
I'll walk you back, Miss Lucy. I don't know what Englishman's business they're talking, but you and I don't care a continental.
Thank you, Mr. Morris.
Did I ever finish telling you that yarn about the horse I saw running all alone on the plains outside of my house? Those buttocks just galloping along so strong.
She's woefully worse than when I last saw her.
So you see it too. She gets worse every day.
She looks somewhat bloodless, but not anemic. I cannot see any malady I know of. Now, I can ask her further questions, but I confess I'm puzzled. If you don't mind, Arthur, the best thing I can think of would be to write my old teacher, Professor Van Helsing of Amsterdam. He's an expert in every field that could be relevant, and an outside opinion besides. He would do anything for me, for a personal reason. And I'm sure he would come at once.
You think it's serious?
I don't know, but I'm uneasy, and I'm not used to being uneasy.
I must return to my father. If you could find excuses to visit her, Jack. Her mother has a heart condition and hasn't told Lucy. You cannot tell her mother that anything is seriously wrong or it could kill her. But you must watch Lucy for me, Jack.
With Mina gone away, I return with reluctance now to my diary, kept by phonograph. I have only listened to these recordings once since I first made them. September 3rd. I had meant to meet Van Helsing at the station today, but after a few weeks of lethargy and disturbed sleep, Lucy had become quite suddenly very ill. Her mother sent for me in the morning to consult professionally, which was a relief after weeks of excuses to see Lucy, and I had to send a wire to Van Helsing, asking him to come himself with all haste.
My good friend! Where's your young patient?
Oh, thank God you're here, Professor. There's been a terrible change for the worse. Now, I've only just seen her, but she will not wake no matter how I try.
She needs blood, immediately.
I am younger and stronger, Professor. It must be me.
I have what I need in my bag here. Who is this? At such a time?
Arthur!
Jack, I read between the lines of your letter and I came right away. Is that gentleman Van Helsing? I am so thankful to you, sir, for coming.
Sir, you have come in time. You are the lover of our dear miss. She is bad. Very, very, very bad. Nay, my child, do not go like that. You can help her.
What can I do? My life is hers, and I would give the last drop of blood in my body for her.
I do not need so much as that. Come, child, sit by her. Jack, give her a sedative.
Ow!
Most sorry, Miss Lucy. You have no need to worry, my dear miss. I am the foremost in my profession, and Seward was my best student. Were you not, my friend? No. Keep your arm still. Just so. Do you know, miss, why I've arrived all from Amsterdam with such haste?
To see me?
Well, Well, now that I have met you, I tell myself that is the only reason. But our friend Jack once saved my life, and when he sucked from my wound the poison of the gangrene, when our other friend, too nervous, let the knife slip. So, for this I am bound to him, and so to anyone he loves. There. The sedative works. She is now asleep. Only a moment more. Oh, what is that mark on her neck?
What is it?
There! Hold on. Now, the brave lover should go have of the port wine and lie down while. Go home then and sleep much and eat much.
Don't you think I could stay until she's awake and speak with her?
You cannot stay here another moment. You have saved her life and now you must go make up what you lost. Goodbye.
Jack, I have to return home tonight. Are you certain I ought not to stay an hour or two with her?
I would, I'd follow the professor's advice, Arthur.
All right then, Professor, Jack. Good afternoon, Lucy.
What do you make of the mark on her throat?
What do you make of it?
Well, I can make nothing of it. You could drench the bed with the blood she's lost, and certainly 2 little holes could not be the cause.
I must go back to Amsterdam tonight. There are books there which I want. You must remain here all night and you must not let your sight pass from her.
Oh, of course, but...
I will be back before another night has passed. Remember, she is your charge.
Hello, Dr. Sayward.
Hello, Lucy. How are you feeling?
Much better. I was feeling so ill, and now I'm much better. I shall stay up all night, I think.
You do not want to sleep?
No, I am afraid to sleep. It makes me so weak, and I don't know why. And that's what's so terrible.
Well, I'll watch you tonight, and you may sleep without fear. I can promise that nothing will happen, and I'll even wake you if you have bad dreams.
Will you really? Do you think you'd be able to tell?
I live in an asylum, Lucy. I'm surrounded by bad dreams.
And I suppose I'm a patient of yours now. Well, I believe you. I'll try to sleep.
God, no! No, oh, Lucy! I'm so sorry. How could you be so much worse? Lucy? Lucy!
Dr. Sayward, I feel so ill. I had the most horrible dream. I saw a mist or a shadow.
You need blood, Lucy. I'll give you mine. Here, take this. You need a transfusion. I need to lie down a moment, Lucy.
You look so dizzy. I feel much, much better, Doctor.
Huh?
Do you know I used to sleepwalk? When I was a child, and when Mina was here, well, Mina is gone and I don't sleepwalk anymore. I sit by the window, you know. Sometimes the moonlight is caught in the glass, fluttering around.
Professor, you're back. What time is it?
I've brought flowers.
But, Professor, I'm not dead yet.
Smell them, darling.
Why, these are just common garlic.
You must keep these in your room, around your neck, on the windowsill. Even if the room feels close, do not tonight open the window or the door. I will smear these on the window all around. Do not touch. Go home and sleep, Jack. We can rest for a night.
Good night, doctors. I don't know about sleeping in flowers, but Arthur will have a laugh over it, I suppose.
Oh, no wonder you've been sleeping so poorly, sweetheart. All these nasty smelling flowers. You need fresh air.
Mother?
You will be glad to know that Lucy is better.
Ah, I thought I had diagnosed the case. Her treatment is working.
You must not take all the credit, Doctor. You see, her improved state this morning is in part due to me. The room was awfully stuffy, and I cleared all those horrible, strong-smelling flowers. She's still in here, asleep. You must come and have some tea when you've examined her.
God, what have we done? What has this poor child done now that we are so sore beset? This poor mother, all unknowing, does such a thing as lose her daughter, body and soul, and we must not tell her. We must not even warn her, or she die. Then both die. Oh, how are all the powers of the devils against us?
She needs blood. Again, I can...
No. Today you must operate, and I will provide. You are wicked already.
There. Please, sit down, Professor.
Does she wake?
No, not a flicker. She looks a little better now, at least.
We must go and rest. I will send for you if she needs to be watched again.
Dr. Sayward? Professor? I thought they were coming back. Is anybody there?
Hello, darling. I was uneasy about you and came in to see you were all right.
Come and sit with me.
What was that?
Nothing, Mother. Just some leaves being blown around. Your heart is racing terribly.
It's nothing. Nothing.
Mother, please. Anyone. Is anyone out there? Please, if anyone is out there, come in and help me. I write this and leave it to be seen so that no one may by any chance get into trouble through me. This is an exact record of what took place tonight. I took care that the flowers were placed as Dr. Van Helsing directed, and I was soon asleep. I was wakened by the flapping at the window. I wish that Dr. Sayward was in the next room, as Dr. Van Helsing said he would be. My mother came in, and I asked her to stay with me, and for a while we sat, her heart beating far too fast when she heard the flapping at the window. And then there was a howl out in the shrubbery, and then a crash as the whole window fell in and broken glass was hurled to the floor. There, between the broken panes, was the head of a great, gaunt, grey wolf. Mother cried out and sat up, clutched wildly at anything that would help her. She tore away the wreath of flowers Dr. Van Helsing insisted on me wearing around my neck. For a second or two she sat pointing at the wolf with a gurgling in her throat, and then she fell over. The room seemed to spin, and the wolf drew his head back from the window, and there seemed a myriad of little specks wheeling and circling around like a pillar of dust. I tried to stir, but there was some spell upon me, and Mother's body, growing cold already, weighed me down. after a long, awful time, I heard a nightingale singing. And it was like the voice of my dead mother come back to comfort me. I laid her out on the bed and put a sheet over her and took what flowers I had and laid them on her breast. Now I sit alone with the dead. I dare not go out. I can still hear the wolf. The air seems full of specks floating and circling in the draught from the window. And the lights burn blue and dim. I shall hide this where they will find it when they come to lay me out.
No one is answering.
We will have to break a window.
What on earth? Well, there's no need. Wash the glass, Professor. Oh my god! Mrs. Westenra is dead.
But it is not yet too late for Miss Lucy. Quick, quick! Bring me the brandy.
This looks like a stand-up fight with death.
If that were all, I would let her fade away into peace. For I see no light in life over her horizon. Help me lift her to the bed. What are we to do now? We must have another transfusion of blood at the instant. You and I are exhausted already. Her lover is not here. What are we to do for someone?
What's the matter with me, anyhow?
Quincy, what brought you here?
Arthur sent me. He's coming right after. I guess I came just in the nick of time. You know you only have to tell me what to do.
There. That's done, Quincy. Do you feel alright?
Jack, I don't want to shove myself in where I've got no right to be, but you know I love that girl and wanted to marry her. What is it that's wrong with her? I take it both you and Van Helsing have done what I have, and Arthur too, I guess. He looked awful when I met him at his place. I haven't seen anything pulled down that quick since a mare I had went to grass all in one night. One of those big bats they called vampires had got at her, and there wasn't enough blood in her to stand up. That's what Arthur looked like to me. So won't you tell me if he was the first to do this? Give blood to her, I mean.
That's so.
She wakes.
Miss Lucy.
Shh!
What's that you're tearing, Lucy?
She has written us a note in the night and now she tears it.
She's still tearing, but there's nothing there. Lucy, do you hear us?
And now she's scattered the pieces. Professor, what's in that note anyhow that she'd want it torn?
I shall hide this paper where they will find it when they come to lay me out.
Arthur! Oh, I am so glad you have come.
No, don't kiss her! Not yet! Hold her hand.
Arthur, I feel a little faint.
No, Lucy. Please don't go back to sleep.
Professor, the wound on her neck is gone.
Mein Gott.
Jack, look at her teeth. Her gums all pale and drawn back like that.
Arthur, oh, I am so glad you've come. Kiss me.
Not on your life! Not for your living soul and hers!
Get off me!
My true friend, thank you. Guard him and give me peace.
I swear it. Come, kiss her on the forehead. And only once. It is all over. She is dead.
Come on out with me, Arthur. Come with me now.
She looks livelier than she did when she was living. Well, there is peace for her now. At the end.
It is not the end. but the beginning.
What do you mean?
We can do nothing as of yet. Wait and see.
The post just came.
There's a letter here for Lucy. Must have arrived yesterday. From a Mina Harker.
My dear boy, do you mind if I open?
Why should you ask me?
Who else can I ask?
May I read it?
Yes, of course. May you read it out loud to me?
My dearest Lucy, it seems an age since I heard from you, or indeed since I wrote.
I got to Budapest all right, and found Jonathan in the care of the sisters. He is a wreck of himself, and does not remember anything that has happened to him for a long time past. He had some terrible shock. The sister would not tell me much of his ravings, but only again that they were full of demons and blood and all the ghoulish things. The morning before we were to be married, he gave me his journal, all bound up, and said, Wilhelmina, and he never called me that since he asked me to marry him, and asked me to take the journal, but never to read it unless some solemn duty should make it necessary to relive those hours recorded there. Of course I promised, and the wedding was in the afternoon, just by the bed, with him propped up on his pillows. And I am now the happiest woman in the world. Lucy, dear, do you know why I tell you all this? It was my privilege to be your friend and guide. When you came from the schoolroom to prepare you for the world of life, I want your married life to be all happy, as I am. My dear Almighty God, may your life be all it promises. A long day of sunshine, with no harsh wind, no forgetting duty, no distrust. I must not wish you no pain, for that can never be. But I do hope you will be always as happy as I am now. You must tell me all your news and all the preparations for your wedding. Yours, Mina Harker.
We weren't married, but you know, I gave my blood to her so that she might live longer, and I say that almost makes us married in the sight of God.
If it may please you, I will take this letter and reply to it. She should hear of her dear friend's death, and there is more I wish to ask her.
Do as you like.
In fact, I will ask her and her most ill husband to come to Whitby. 3 days from now, I think, I will ask all of us to meet again. Unless, Mr. Holmwood, your father's health prevent you...
My father is dead. I followed Quincy here as soon as he had gone.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Lord Godalming.
No, not that, for God's sake. Forgive me. I did not mean to snap. It is only because my loss is so recent.
I will call you Arthur, my boy, for that is the name which I have grown to love for Lucy's sake.
Call me what you will. I am your friend for it.
Lucy's funeral is tomorrow. I do not know when your father will be buried. Can you return here in 3 days?
Yes.
Then we will meet again.
P.S. Jonathan asked me to send his respectful duty, but I do not think that is good enough. And so, as you love me and he loves me, and I love you with all the moods and tenses of the verb, I send you simply his love instead. Goodbye, my dearest Lucy, and blessings on you. It's a beautiful day, isn't it, Jonathan?
Mina, love, you needn't make all this effort for me. I know how upset you are about Lucy. You needn't always be putting on a brave face.
But it is a beautiful day, isn't it? The sun and sky. It was so misty and cold when I was here with her.
Mina, darling.
Have you heard? Apparently there's a bit of haunting going around. It was in the paper on the train. Several children have wandered off and come home weak and pale, saying they've been with a beautiful lady, all in white.
All in white?
Oh, I'm sorry, darling. I can't do anything right.
Shh! Do you see who that is?
No, dear. I don't know him. Who is it?
It is the man himself. I believe it is the Count, but he has grown young. Oh my God! If only I knew! If only I could know!
Jonathan, come sit.
Have I been asleep? Oh, do forgive me for being so rude. Come, and we'll have a cup of tea somewhere.
September 29th. I intended to end my diary altogether, but nothing ends, it seems. By Van Helsing's design, we met in the churchyard an hour or so before dawn, 3 days after Lucy's death.
Now, we have all of us see the same thing, as I said we would.
I don't understand. How can her coffin be empty?
You're satisfied that it was sealed, no?
Yes, I saw you cut it open. But why bury an empty coffin?
But was it empty?
Professor, I cannot see what you are driving at.
Let us leave the tomb. Now, outside the door, we will stand and wait.
Professor, all I want is your word. I don't want to imply a doubt, but this is a mystery beyond honor or dishonor. Is this your doing?
I swear to you, by all that I hold sacred, that I have not removed or touched her. Wait with me, and things much stranger are yet to be.
I heard you talking pretty low to Jack about those wandering kids. Do you mean to say that whatever took away the children also took?
It is Miss Lucy who has taken them away.
Dr. Van Helsing! Are you mad? Oh my God.
Lucy!
Steady!
Come to me, Arthur. Leave these others and come to me. My husband, come. We can rest together.
Lucy, love.
Get behind me! She has gone back into her tomb, through the crack in the stone. It is sunrise now. She cannot come out again so easy. Answer me, my friend. Am I to proceed in my work?
Do as you will. There can be no horror like this ever anymore.
You will strike the blow that sets her free, my child. It would be your choice.
I can't! I won't let you!
Listen to me. We all saw that she was dead and buried, and now she is not. Arthur, you have looked her full in her face. Tell me, is she alive?
No, she had nothing like life in her. Where has Lucy gone?
She is made undead. There is with the undead a curse of immortality. All that die from the preying of the undead cannot die, but must become themselves undead and go on age after age, adding new victims. And so the circle goes on ever widening, like the ripples from a stone thrown into the water. Friend Arthur, if you had met her kiss, you would in time have become Nosferatu, like her. If she die, those little children she has beaten will have their little wounds heal and will return to playing, not knowing what has happened. If she die, her soul will be free. Do you not want to be the hand that saves her?
Tell me what I am to do.
Take this stake and this hammer and drive it through her heart as she sleeps in her coffin through the break of day. Then I will cut her head off.
Oh my God!
Breathe, Arthur.
Now, Arthur, am I forgiven?
I'd have rather died myself than seen that. Except, I'd swear she had a look of peace on her face. I'm at sea, Professor, but Hold on. Who's there?
Mina!
Arthur, what have you... You're covered in blood. What are you doing?
Mina, let's go. We came to see poor Lucy's grave, but we don't want any trouble with you.
Now, look here, ma'am. I know this looks mighty bad, and I'm guessing you're that friend of Lucy's that the professor wrote.
Madame Mina Harker, I think your husband maybe knows what is done.
Oh, no. Not here.
Jonathan, it's all right. He's not here.
How do you know about him?
I read your journal. Oh, I'm sorry, Jonathan, but you said you saw him in the square.
Whom did you see?
He doesn't remember.
I remember. I remember it all now.
You'll be all right in a moment, my good man. Have a seat. Breathe deeply.
Mina.
Mr. Harker, I must ask you of your journal.
Mina, don't go in there.
This journal, I must see it.
Mina, I beg of you, don't go in there.
What have you done to Lucy?
It was then that we all met and formed a conspiracy of sorts. Each of us moved into my asylum for a time. Jonathan and Mina Harker, Arthur, now Lord Godalming, Quincy Morris, Van Helsing, and myself. For a few days, we waited in the dark as Van Helsing paged feverishly through Jonathan Harker's diary, and Mina collected and sorted and typed up every document that might possibly be of importance, including my own phonograph recordings. Then we each took turns reading what she had last finished assembling, until the moment it was all recorded, set down and organized into something that might hold a clue to the nature of our enemy. It is these documents that I now hold before me, some burned, some torn, all locked away for half a lifetime.
There, I've typed it all up. Every letter, every journal entry since my husband went to Transylvania. It's practically a novel. We're all caught up to the minute. Now, Professor, won't you tell us what is going on?
One way or another, we are all acquainted with the facts in these papers. I have been leading you, my friends, on faith that does not see. Until now. I will make to you known the history of this man, this author of all this our sorrow, and then, if you follow me, we will swear an oath to find him and stamp him out. Shall I proceed? There are such things as vampires. This we know, for all over this world there are the superstitions, the memories of them. I have kept an open mind all my life, and so I hear and see the repetition. All we have to go upon are these traditions and superstitions, but we see them in our own unhappy experience. The vampire live on and cannot die by mere passing of the time. He can flourish where he can fatten on the blood of the living. He eat not as others. Jonathan did never see him eat, never. He throws no shadow. He make in the mirror no reflect. He has the strength of 20 men. He transform himself into a wolf. He can be as bat. He can come in mist which he create. He come on moonlight rays as elemental dust. He becomes so small that he can slip through the air-breath space at the tomb door. He can, when once he find his way, come out from anything or into anything, no matter how it be fused up. He can see in the dark. No small power this. In a world that is one half shut from the light.
Then how could we possibly face such a man?
Ah, but hear me through. He can do all these things, yet he is not free. He may not enter anywhere, unless he be invited by someone of the household who bid him to come, though afterward he may come and go as he please. His power ceases at the coming of the day. At night, he may take any shape he please, but during the day, he may only change at sunrise, or noon, or sunset, unless he be within the earth of his homeland, in his coffin home, in his unhallowed ground. You've seen Miss Lucy return to her coffee at the sunrise. For the undead prefer to retreat to these refuges, or else they must wander all the day as powerless as you or I. In the day, he is only slightly stronger than a mortal man, and he will prefer to hide from us. As for other things, he cannot cross running water except at the change of the tide. Sacred symbols repel him. A branch of wild rose atop his coffin will keep him inside. A sacred bullet will kill him true dead. But best we know that a stake or a cut-off head works the most sure.
Is that what you did to Lucy?
Alas, yes, Madame Mina. But it brought her peace, as I swore to do.
You say all of this, Professor, but how do you know this has anything to do with this Count fella?
One, from Harker's account, and two, from the history the Count himself gave. He must indeed have been that Voivode Dracula who won his name fighting on the frontier of his country. For centuries after, he was spoken of as the cleverest and the most cunning and the bravest of the sons of Transylvania. That mighty brain and that iron resolution went with him to the grave. The Draculas were a great and noble race, but they learned their secrets in the Sholomets, in the mountains over Hermannstadt, where it is said the devil claims the 10th scholar as his due. I know not where he came to be of the undead, but if there is one older than him who has made him as he is, that other is lost to the records and to us. For our hunt, he is the original.
Excuse me, one moment.
We must settle what we do. We know from Jonathan and from Jack that from his castle came 50 boxes of earth, taken by this Russian ship and brought to this Dracula's home of Carfax.
Carfax? But that's the house next door. Oh my god, if we'd only known this earlier.
Ought we to meet so close to him?
It is better we keep the eyes on him.
Oh, sorry, that was idiotic of me. Must have frightened you all terribly. But the fact is, while the professor was talking, there came a big bat and sat on the windowsill. I have a horror of the damn brutes, and I went out to have a shot.
Did you hit it?
I don't think so. It flew away into the wood.
I will continue. We must find these 50 boxes. If all 50 still be in Carfax, and not yet taken further away as he must certainly plan, we will sterilize the earth, and so trap him out of the earth, so that in the day hours he will be at his most weak. Then can we hunt him. Are we all resolved to do so, and not to rest until he be gone from this poor haunted earth? For you, Madame Mina, I do not ask you to swear so. You are too precious to us to have such risk. We men shall go tonight, and you shall stay and be our star and our hope, so that we may act more freely without you.
As you like.
It is nearly sunset now. Let us go and gather our supplies. We'll from now, all of us, carry such things as will repel him. Crosses, garlic, and whatever else may be at hand that I have mentioned.
One moment. I think Mina may have taken a wrong turn. I'll be right back.
Good evening, Mr. Renfield. You see, I know you, for Dr. Seward has told me of you.
You're not the girl the doctor wanted to marry, are you? You can't be, you know, for she's dead.
Oh no! I have a husband of my own. I am Mrs. Harker.
Then what are you doing here?
My husband and I are staying on a visit with Dr. Seward.
Then don't stay.
But why not?
How did you know I wanted to marry anyone?
What an asinine question.
I don't see how, Mr. Renfield.
Dr. Seward fails to recognize, of course, that when a man is so loved and honored as our host is, everything regarding him is of interest in our little community. In fact, those matters of the outside world provide a delightful distraction from the little fixed ideas which inmates such as myself may develop, you know. I myself had a strange idea not too long ago. I used to fancy that life was a perpetual entity, and that by consuming a multitude of living things, no matter the scale, I might indefinitely prolong my life. But I was not quite correct, my dear, and it is little pokes and prods from the outside world that helped me realize that my fixed idea was not accurate.
Well, I'm glad if we've helped you, Renfield. I think we ought to leave, Madam Mina. The others will be waiting for me.
Goodbye, and I hope I may see you often, under auspices pleasanter to yourself.
Goodbye, my dear. I pray God I may never see your face again. May God bless and keep you.
What do you mean by...
Dr. Seward, it is imperative that you listen to me. I am sane, completely sane, and I am asking you for my freedom. I know perfectly well that it is within your power to set me free at any moment you deem me to be rehabilitated, and I will do anything you ask to prove that I am indeed as sane as you are. I must be released at once. I know that you will not keep me a moment longer than necessary and will honor this request of mine. Is it possible that I have erred in my supposition?
You have.
Could you look into your heart, you would approve to the full sentiments which animate me. Nay, you would count me among the truest of your friends.
Renfield, I shall not release you on a whim. The sudden change itself is suspicious, but if you tell me your real reason for wishing to be free, I will consider it.
I can't! I can't. I am not my own master. Let me entreat you. Let me implore you. Send me away how you will, in chains if you like, but take me from this house. You do not understand. You do not know what you do or who you wrong. Can't you hear me? Can't you understand? Don't you know that I am sane and earnest now, but I am fighting for my soul? Hear me. Let me go. Let me go!
Come, no more of this. We've had quite enough already. Now get to your bed and try to be quiet.
You will remember that I did what I could do to convince you.
October 1st, evening. After that strange exchange with Mina and Renfield, last night I placed a man in the corridor with orders to make a note of any sound he heard from Renfield's room, and to call me if there was anything strange. I asked him today what he had heard. There was something suspicious in his manner, and so I asked him point blank if he had been asleep, which he denied, but admitted to dozing for a while. It's too bad men cannot be trusted. Meanwhile, we dressed in all black and broke into Carfax. Jonathan, who had copied maps of the place for the Count, led us through the darkness to where the boxes lay. We were at points nearly swarmed with rats, but they did not pursue us for too long a time, for it seemed the Count's influence was elsewhere. Jonathan is much stronger than he has been, Mina tells us, but all the same, we will meet without either of them tonight, so he may sleep off the strain of leading us through the Count's new lair. We have now made our first move against the Count. In a few moments, the rest of us will discuss what must next be done.
Last night, we almost achieved our purpose. 50 boxes to sanctify. And how many have we done?
49. I'm sorry, Professor, but we've spent the whole day asking through the town, and we could not find the 50th.
If we cannot find it, we must follow him to it. That is now his only refuge from us. Tonight, we will rest, and tomorrow, we will act swiftly and without hesitation.
I'm glad we've kept Mina out of it. She looks pale and worried enough as it is, and Jonathan needs the rest. Excuse me one moment. The attendant has called for me. Renfield is dying. How has this happened? Who's done this to him?
He could have not done it to himself. Not to break this and then break that.
Poor devil. What could have happened?
Shh. I'll be quiet, Doctor. Tell them to take off the straitjacket. I have had a terrible dream, and I am so weak that I cannot move. What's wrong with my face?
Tell us your dream, Mr. Renfield.
It wasn't really a dream, you know. I have something I must say before I die. It was that night after you left me, when I implored you to let me go away. I couldn't speak then, for I felt my tongue was tied. But I was as sane then, except in that way, as I am now. I was in an agony of despair for what seemed hours. Then there came a sudden peace. He came to the window in a mist, as I had seen him often before, and he was laughing with his red mouth, sharp teeth glinting when he turned to look at the dogs barking in the trees. I wouldn't ask him to come in at first, though I knew he wanted me to, just as he had wanted all along. Then he began promising me things. Lives, many lives for my own. Thousands and thousands through countless ages. Come in, Lord and Master, I said. And he slid into the room through the tiniest crack in the slash and stood before me. And then he was gone again. He did not come back until tonight. Just now, just here, and when he came in, he did not even knock, and gave me no word of thanks, or anything, and went past me as if he owned the whole place, and I was a no one. He didn't even smell the same as he went by. I thought for a moment Miss Harker had come into the room. And I remember now that when she came by this afternoon, she wasn't the same. Like tea, after the teapot has been watered down. So when he came here again, I began to think, and it made me mad to know he'd been taking the life out of her. So I grabbed hold of him. I have heard that madmen have unnatural strength, and as I knew I was a madman, I resolved to use my power. He felt it, for he had to come out of the mist to struggle with me, and I thought I was going to win, until I saw his eyes, and then my strength became water, and he threw me down. Then the mist went out, under the door.
We know the worst now. He is here. There is not an instant to spare.
Should we disturb her? It's most unusual to break into a lady's room.
Break down the door!
What I saw in that room appalled me. I felt my hair rise like bristles on my neck, and my heart stood still. The moonlight was bright enough to see by, and on the bed by the window lay Jonathan Harker, flushed and unconscious. Kneeling on the near edge of the bed facing outward was the white-clad figure of Mina. By her side stood a tall, thin man clad in black. His face was turned from us, but we all recognized him. One dark sleeve was torn up to the elbow, and it was this wrist that he held over Mina's mouth. Her white nightdress was smeared with blood, and more trickled down. I was reminded of a child forcing a kitten's nose into a saucer of milk to compel it to drink. As we burst into the room, the Count turned his face, and the hellish look that Jonathan had described leapt into it. His eyes flamed red, his nostrils quivered, and the white, sharp teeth, behind lips dripping blood, clamped together like those of a wild beast.
Good God!
Hold steady. Keep all your crosses.
You think to baffle me with your faces in a row like sheep in a butcher's? You think you have left me without a place to rest? But I have many. My revenge is just begun, and I have centuries to work it in. Your girls that you love are both mine, and they will make you mine, and then others yet. All of you! All of my enemies become mine in the end.
And you, Mina, their best beloved one, you shall come to my call, across land or sea, to do my bidding.
You thought you could control against me!
Jonathan, awake!
What does this mean? What has happened? What is wrong? Mina, dear, what is that blood? Oh God, help her! Help her!
Don't touch me! I cannot touch you! Not ever again! Stay away!
We lost him in the hole.
Renfield is dead.
Come, we must follow him. The sun will soon be rising, and this may be our last chance to find his last refuge. If he eludes us now, we have lost.
Mina, love, what happened?
He came into the room on a mist, and then the mist became a tall man, all in black. He told me not to make a sound or he would kill you. And then my will seemed to fade away. He told me that now that I was like him, that I would become him, that your pursuit to hunt him down would kill me too, that you would destroy me too, once I had helped them to find him.
Mina, you know that's not true. Van Helsing said, once he is dead, well, his victims will be freed.
Yes, that is what Van Helsing said.
I won't let anyone hurt you.
It would be better to die than to become like him. I know that. It would be better. Wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it?
I will tell Van Helsing where he has gone. Last night at sunset, I could nearly see in my mind where he was. Sunrise is coming now, and I will see him again. It is better that they find him.
If they do not find him, they may decide that you must die. You will start to change.
I know. I will tell them where he has gone.
Where has he gone, Mina?
He's put a weight on my tongue so that I cannot say it. Only in a moment, when the sun is rising. Don't touch me. It is no longer safe for you.
I am not afraid, Mina. Whatever happens, I will stand with you.
I'm so sorry, Mina. We've lost him.
Professor, I think I can help you. He said he could call me over land and sea, and when the sunrise comes, I may catch a glimpse of his purpose.
It's only now breaking dawn.
Yes, my child? Where is he?
I can see nothing. It is all dark.
What do you hear?
The lapping of water. It is gurgling by, and little waves leap. I can hear them on the outside.
Then you are on a ship?
Oh, yes. There are men above, stamping overhead, and the creaking of a chain and the ropes. The wind is high, and the bow throws back the foam.
What are you doing?
I am still. Oh, so still. It is like death. Have I been talking in my sleep?
Mina, you've told us he is on a ship. Once again, back the way he came, down in the hold in the darkness, very, very still, with the damp, cold earth under his back.
So he's put the last box on a ship. How stupid of us.
Ah, Madam Mina, you are wonderful. He means to escape us like a fox with dogs after. I will send the others immediately to inquire about the ship.
Must we seek him further? If he is gone from this country, why not let him go?
Because, my dear Mina, he can live for centuries, and you are but a mortal woman. Time for you is now to be dreaded, since once he put that mark upon your throat.
But now Mina is safe. Lucy we kept losing because we did not guard her, but now he's gone.
Forgive me, Madam Mina. No matter how or when you die, even as an old woman, when you're buried in the ground, you will come up out of it again, as poor Lucy did. As long as he lives, you will become like him.
Van Helsing!
Professor, you do not need to find the ship. You can catch it at any rate, but we know where he is going.
You think?
You've said before that his brain is like a child's brain, brilliant when he was alive, but doomed to learn things over again in death. His learning slowed by immortality. He only learns by trying, and he is slow to try.
Yes. So like a criminal, he repeats himself.
He told Jonathan when he led armies. He returned home again and again alone from the field, and raised new armies and came back. You don't need to know the ship. We can travel after him, and we will come in time to cut him off.
Beautiful mind. You are a wonder, Madame Mina. So, we will run him down all the way to his own hole and trap him.
My journal has ended, for we embark on the long journey to Dracula's castle. All that remains are the last of Mina's entries.
October 30th, Bukovina. After days, weeks of travel and preparation, tracking the ship to a port where we might corner him, we lost him when the ship came into Galatz, not Verna. Perhaps he can see a little of our plans, as I see his. Now there is nothing for us to do but to chase after him towards his home. He travels fast, but there are many of us.
Here we part. Perhaps for the last time. Do you each know the part you must play?
Jack and I have the horses.
And Mina and I, who are not so energetic, we will take a nice slow walk towards his castle.
No, don't take her there!
It will be safer than the direct pursuit, as the four of you make. But we must destroy his last resting place and banish any like him that we find there.
I have nothing to fear from him.
Everyone is armed? Not against him. I mean for the wolves. Good. May we all meet again soon. Our purpose done.
Goodbye, Jonathan. I'll see you soon.
I love you, Mina. Stay away.
Jonathan, may I have a word? I hate to say this to you, but I think better you than any of the others. I've had this thought in my head that won't go away.
What is it?
Well, we're trying to save Mina. None more than you. And I believe the professor that killing the Count will set her free. I believe it. He hasn't been wrong yet. But we ain't exactly seen that happen yet either. All I'm saying is, 2 wrongs don't make a right. And maybe killing the thing that bit her doesn't change her back. You should watch out for her, Harker. Keep an eye.
I'm sure it will, Quincy. But, as you say, I'll watch out for her.
Now, my dear, it is nearly sunset. Do you see where he is?
Still on the river. I can hear the water, but also the cows on the banks. The water is fast where he is. I can hear the men on his little boat arguing.
Oh, he will not dare to leave his coffin while he is on the water. For all his carriers would have to do is tip him in, and he would be lost. The others must catch him before he gets on land, or at least run him down while it is still day. Tonight, you and I will rest here, and by the afternoon tomorrow we should reach his castle.
What are you making? Some kind of circle?
Come, step over it.
I cannot.
I am sorry. Won't you have something to eat? You slept all day.
I did eat, when you weren't looking. Don't worry about me, Professor.
I will keep watch. Try and get some rest in the night. We will walk tomorrow. Mina, your eyes do not close.
Mina.
I will feed the fire.
No, don't go without the circle. Here you are safe.
It is for you I fear.
Why fear for me? None safer in all the world from them than I am.
Come, sister. Come to us. Come.
Do not look at them, Mina.
Does a man look just the same when he is bitten? As Lucy and I did.
I should say so. If we're not lucky, perhaps we'll see ourselves. Once more the dawn. Mina, where is he?
The river. The horsemen are afraid, but on and on down the river. He is close. He can smell it.
Mina, wake up! If you sleep all day, I cannot carry you to the castle. Mina, he does not sleep. This is useless.
Professor? What's this? I cannot wake you. I am going myself to the castle, where I will destroy those sisters and sanctify his tomb. I do not walk fast, you know, so I may not be back before sunset. We have not heard much of wolves, but I am sorry, Mina, if they come. I have made a hard choice. I will be back as soon as I can. Get away! Get back! I didn't come all this way to be eaten by wolves. Back! Oh, Jonathan, I'm so sorry. They're coming right this way. Van Helsing, come back! Is that him there? Professor, please hurry! They're coming this way. Let me out!
Catch him before the sun sets!
Professor, you must hurry! He's left them all behind fighting his drivers. He's running this way.
Stall him! The sun is setting. He must not escape them now.
How can I stall him? I cannot move.
He is bound to you. You must kill him now.
I am not a wolf. That will not hurt me.
I would hurt you, but I cannot leave the circle.
I thought you were standing your ground. But you are all cowards!
Neither of us can harm the other.
A pretty little symbol. But I am on the outside and you are caged.
When you die, I will be free.
Why are you so sure, my darling? I led armies. Generations of armies. Do you think that if I could have freed myself by hunting down one man, I would not have done it?
That's different. You died.
Yes. Eventually. And when you die, no matter how long from now, you will take my place. I am the last of my house. But at least you are not unlike me.
If this were true, when I was old, I would tell them what I was, and I would have them kill me. And that would be the end.
Mina, already you are not the idealistic girl you were. When you are old, you will not let them kill you.
Enough! You cannot distract us. There's more than my life at stake. Jonathan!
Mina, get away from him!
Don't worry, the circle separates us.
This will not save her, Harker. If you let me escape,
They will have to keep hunting me, and they will leave her be. Their hope of saving her will blind them to what she is, and they will let her leave.
Mina, what if he's right?
He's lying, Jonathan. Killing him will set me free. He told me so.
How dare you?
The sun is setting. Kill him quickly while he is still a man.
The others are nearly here. Quincy, help me hold him!
Jack, Arthur, get on. He can't hold him. Harker, don't let him go now. I can't hold him alone. Ah! Harker!
Quincy! Jonathan, what are you doing? Leave him and stop the Count!
Stay away from Mina! I won't let any of you hurt her!
He can't get near me unless a circle... Jonathan, no! You'll break the line!
The sun is going! Surround him now, or we will all join him!
Harker! Hold him!
Quincy, you're hurt.
Don't mind me. Hold him! You won't escape us here!
You must kill him now!
You have lost. The sun is gone.
As the Count's eyes saw the sinking sun, I saw the look of vindictive hate in them turn to triumph. But on the instant came a stake through his heart and Jonathan's knife across his throat. Before our very eyes, and almost in the drawing of a breath, his whole body crumbled into dust and passed from our sight. I shall be glad as long as I live that even in that moment of final dissolution, there was in the face a look of peace, such as I never could have imagined might rest there. The castle of Dracula now stood out against the red sky, and every stone of its broken battlements was articulated against the setting sun. Quincy Morris, who had sunk to the ground, leaned on his elbow, holding his hand to his side. I flew to him. The circle no longer kept me back, and he took my hand in his unbloodied one.
I'm only too happy to have been of service, girlie. It was worth for this to die. Look! Look!
The last red gleams of the sun fell on my face and neck, and all of them followed his pointing finger.
Now God be thanked that all has not been in vain. See, there is no bite upon her throat. The curse has passed away.
And to our bitter grief, with a smile and in silence, he died, a gallant gentleman.
And there our story ended, with the death of one of the bravest souls I ever knew, and the passing away of Mina's curse. My sleep is plagued, now and then, with the memory of what we saw, but I remember always that we did triumph in the end. We destroyed the Count, and we saved his last victim. Mina has lived the long life that Lucy never had, and indeed, it looks as if she will outlive us all. I ought to pass these papers on to her. She collected them, after all, and perhaps I will, when I die. But for now, I like to keep them close.